Thank you. Welcome. I'd like to call the May 25th meeting of the Law Committee to order and ask if our majority council could please take roll.
Madam Chairwoman, Ms. Plotsky,
Present.
Cunningham. I see
Present, sorry.
That's all right. Mr. Bergdorf,
Present.
Feeny,
Here.
Kuhn,
Here.
Mayo.
Here.
Peter is excused this evening. Ricard
Present.
and Whalen.
Here.
8 present, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you very much. Have you had a chance to review the minutes, and is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Feeney.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you. Minutes pass unanimously. Item 2, local law A for the Tourism Improvement District is being tabled at the request of sponsor. Item 3, local law K, is the chairman with us tonight?
He should be joining. If we could
Okay.
circle back to that one, he should be.
Yeah,
here.
we'll come back. All right. Item 4, local law L, eviction issues with Sam Fine is also being tabled at request of sponsor. Is Mr. Purley here? I don't see him. Item 5, local law M. We believe this will be being withdrawn by Mr. Purley.
Yes, that's my understanding, Madam Chairwoman. He withdrew it last night in CSGI as well.
Okay, so this is withdrawn. Item 6, we'll also circle back to, that's also with Andrew. Item 7, local law M, also being withdrawn, table at request of sponsor, that's Mr. Purley's. Is Ally on the line?
Nope, but I did
Ms.
speak with her.
McFarland.
She has requested that this item 8 and item 11 be tabled at the request of sponsor, as she is awaiting further information from the executive office.
Okay, then item 8 and 11 are tabled at request of sponsor. Is Mickey on? Is anybody here tonight?
I also spoke with Mr. Cleary earlier, and he indicated he would ask that this item be tabled at the request of sponsor.
Really?
Yes, at that 9 and 12.
All right, I was hoping those would, okay. So items 9 and 12 are tabled at request of sponsor.
The chairman's joining right now. I apologize.
Great, no problem. We kind of started on time, which is a little unusual. Usually I wait a couple of minutes, but. Let's get Andrew.
If the first item's the Stage Act, if anyone has any questions for Mr. O'Connor, we can start there.
Yeah, item 10, local law A is the Stage Act. And let's give
He's joining right now. I see.
Chair Joyce a moment to join. There you are.
He's muted, but I asked him. Not to mute. There he is.
Were you all waiting for me?
Just a little bit, only
Thank you.
32 seconds. It's fine, Mr. Chairman.
Uh,
Why don't we go to item 10, local law A, which is the Stage Act. And Chairman Joyce, would you like to say a few words about the Stage Act?
Thank you, Vicki. Yes, this is a Stage Act. It's establishing the framework for the county legislature, the Advanced Albany County Alliance, and the county executive's office to market and prepare Albany County to be the green energy and sustainability jobs creating powerhouse it can be. We had the public hearing last month, and it came out of CSGI last night with a favorable recommendation. And as we do the same here tonight. And if there's any technical questions or anything with detail, I believe Mr. O'Connor is on to answer any questions if I can't answer.
Are there questions for Mr. O'Connor?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Bergdorf, please go ahead.
Kevin and Chairman Joyce, I'm going to support this, but I am
concerned about some of the verbiage in the legislation. For the first part, under Section 4, where it says Green Economic Development Plan established, the small 4 says that under the plan, the prioritization of economic development projects which increase the amount of green business and related employment opportunities created in the County of Albany. My concern is that we have a whole arena of economic development efforts, or I thought we were going to have a whole arena of economic development efforts. And I am concerned about saying that while I appreciate the green economic development and what's going on at the port and what's going on at Plug Power, I would hate to see any economic development incentive or priority be put at a disadvantage if it were not green. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is the funding mechanism under 5 section B. The Commissioner of Management and Budget is further authorized pursuant to this local law to establish any and all necessary funds within each annual county budget proposal, which funds all programs and goals outlined in this local law. That sort of sounds like a blank check to me. And I don't know if that becomes local law, it becomes binding on the Audit and Finance Committee to put money to support this program above and beyond any other economic development program or any other increase or any other expenditure of the county. So I'm, once again, while I, for years I've been screaming about we need to have an economic development department, I'm concerned about language that says this is the priority, and it appears that we are, by adopting this, authorizing a policy that says there is a blank check to fund all programs as outlined in this local law. So I don't know who wants to handle that, whether it's Kevin or the chair, but I would like to hear what people's thoughts are.
I can handle first, Kevin, if you wanted to jump in, or if Patrick had something specific. But this is kind of it's a special focus, and we needed to spell it out in the local law in terms of going after green energy and sustainability focused opportunities for the county. Like as you had mentioned, we're doing things at the port. We're doing things with the South End grocery store. Where we've got a massive growing project going on with Plug. There's all kinds of opportunities out there with green energy and otherwise. And I think Kevin will agree that we're going after every opportunity that's feasible in the county, to include shovel-ready projects and so on and so forth. But I don't believe there's any such thing as a blank check, in the county. I don't. While the language may indicate that, I don't believe that's something that the Commissioner of Management and Budget can just do unilaterally. But I'll defer to Patrick on what our process is for a dollar threshold for any project that comes before us, if it comes before the county. And Kevin had any additional comments, or Patrick, I'll defer to them at this point.
I'll let Kevin speak for sure if you want to.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Madam Chairwoman. Mr. Bergdorf, this is certainly not intended to be to the exclusion of any other industry. As Chairman Joyce said, this is really to focus on an area of industry that we have a particular strategic positioning in, and that being the alternative energy and related industries. And this also would be a tool that would be used to be able to fund the suppliers of these industries as well. So this is something that it'll be a signal sent out by the county legislature to the rest of the world that Albany County is open and accepting for alternative energy and green energy companies. And as that famous philosopher Kermit the Frog used to say, it ain't easy being green.
Perfect.
I would just note that the budgetary process comes before the legislature every year. So this is to be put into the budget, which is voted on by the legislature. So if there's any worries about a blank check, I don't see that being feasible. And this is just another tool in the county's disposal. We've had such tools for all other endeavors for as long as this county has existed. And now there's got to be some focus on green energy. It's not going to disregard all of their focus. That's not the case at all.
And it does not allow for a blank check mechanism either. Our processes don't change, and we're bound by process.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I'm somewhat comforted by it. But the language here is what it says, and I want to see us pursue every type of economic development, because it's not easy to pay $5 and they're saying that gas may be $6 a gallon or $7 a gallon, and people in Albany County need economic development that's going to help them meet their daily needs. And I understand the greater goal for which you seek, but I just want to go on record as saying I think we need to do all sorts of economic development, and I think we ought to not do it at the expense of it being a second-class economic development as opposed to green development. So, I mean, I am going to vote for this, but I just wanted you to understand my concerns.
Madam Chairwoman, can I respond to that just briefly?
Yes, Mr. Connor. Thank you. O'Connor.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Bergdorf, I get your point loud and clear. And as we do have other tools that we can use for other industries, not the least of which being the Albany County IDA, the Altech Loan Fund, and of course, the general technical assistance. The reason for the specific reference to green and alternative energy is the just enormous potential that this holds out for the county. And what I'm talking about here is hundreds of millions of dollars of investment and thousands of jobs. I can't go into any details because I have a non-disclosure agreement, but next week we're bringing a company, an offshore wind related company, into the county that's considering a $220 million investment to manufacture components for offshore wind towers. And to have this signal sent by the county, the legislature, and the county executive that this is an industry that they really hold out to be special and unique would goes a long way in helping us land some of these companies.
Thank you for that explanation, Kevin.
Okay. Are there more questions for Mr. O'Connor? May I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Mr. Feene. And a second from Mr. Ricard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go on to item 13, local law D for kitty cat adoption. I think Andrew is here for that as well. Would you like to say anything about it?
Yes, thank you. We heard from the executive director of the Mohawk Hudson Humane Society last night, as well as the executive director of the Animal Protection League for the state of New York, about the benefits, towards the bottom line for the individuals that house and care for abandoned felines, in Albany County. And they went through the the different data that supports how this is going to help them, do more. Most cats that are abandoned, if they're runaways or strays, they get picked up within 48 hours. But this gives us in Albany County more time or less time to get these animals into loving homes, and anything we can do to help our nonprofits that are caring for animals at this time as we come out of the pandemic, we should be doing. And looking forward to your support of this measure tonight.
Great. Are there any questions for Mr. Joyce? No? Is there a motion?
Madam Chair?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Grimm. Sure. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, a question for Andrew. Is there any opposition to this? Why would anyone be against it?
That's a great point, Mr. Graham. No, there isn't. There isn't in our body, and we know here locally what Mohawk Hudson Humane does. There are members of the legislature and that support their work. I do a fundraiser every year. I know Mr. Bergdorf is supportive, and we all are. But no, we have not from members or otherwise have we heard any opposition to it.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Feeny.
I'd like to move it. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Bergdorf.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor as well. I'm a doggy guy, but
You'll make an exception.
this sounds like the right thing to do.
Could I be added as a sponsor if I'm not already?
Yeah,
Me too, thanks.
and me too. Co-sponsor.
Wonderful.
Now we all have to show up at the fundraiser, you realize, if we're co-sponsoring.
Yeah.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Our family adopted a kitten from Mohawk Hudson Humane many years ago, and I just with these challenging times that we're in right now, these pets are all, you talk about comfort pets and service pets, and they all are. For those of us that have pets, we know how comforting and how good it is to have loving animals in our home. So the more the legislature can do to promote that and help that in the county, we should. So I appreciate all your support.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Feeney, did you make a motion?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and
Second.
who seconded? Mr. Ricard? Great, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
No. No one opposed from what I could hear. Thank you. Passes unanimously.
Thank you, everyone.
Items 14 and 15 on local law E are tabled at request of sponsor. And let's circle back to item 3, which is local law K regarding opioids. And I believe Andrew, Mr. Joyce was going to talk about that as well briefly.
Yes, as we worked our way through this process, we realized that the state had implemented some programming that is going to preempt or precede some of the efforts that we would have had here in the county. So tonight I'm going to withdraw both the draft local law and the public hearing.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Joyce.
Thank you.
I believe that concludes our agenda for this evening. Great. Is there a motion?
Motion adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Feeney. Second.
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 Thank you, Mr. Bergdorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody.